We are here in our evil pale garden biome of my hardcore world, and today we're gonna be adding some more spookier vibes to the pale garden. But we have a lot planned for today's episode, so first off, I can't see anything. But we need to plan out what we're gonna be building today, and I think a nice little checklist will help out with some of this. So here are our three segments of today's video. First, I want to build a train station. In this hardcore world, we have a very intricate rail system that goes throughout our nether and connects up to all of our far out places. And I want to make a fancy little train station in the theme of the Pale Manor behind me. Very Victorian, so we're gonna keep the same theme. And I want to extend out this path a little bit and build it down out here in the forest. So we gotta clear out a bunch of trees and all that non-really fun stuff. Maybe a little bit of terraforming too. Then next up, we're gonna be making the graveyard slash crypt area of the Pale Garden here. So currently inside our beautiful Pale Manor, on the inside, it's not so beautiful because of this guy right here. Okay, if I quickly run inside, you can see that we have our resin farm. And I'll be so honest, this thing is absolute dog water. Okay, excuse me. So once we tear out this resin farm, we're gonna make a really cool little crypt area right behind this house here. We're gonna go a little bit further back. Please stop chasing me. Let me sleep. Whoa. So yeah, we're gonna make our new resin farm out back over here. We're gonna kind of expand out a little bit of this platform and go out. There's a little like ravine you can kind of see right there with all the dirt and everything. We're gonna build our crypt right past there. Getting rid of this resin farm on the inside and the flower farm up top will actually leave room for our next step in today's video, which is building an interior for the Pale Manor. I am very tired of the boring interior on the inside there. So at the end of this episode, we're going to be making a very cool interior for this place. But that's enough blabbering. Let's get started on building that train station. Oh yes, but such a build might inquire such questions as, how did you come up with this idea? Welcome to Inspiration History 101. I am Professor Barnabas, and today's lecture is on Victorian architecture. Okay, anyways. My original inspiration for the Pale Manor was based off of a real-life building in Paris Disneyland called the Phantom Manor, which is actually based off of the Haunted Mansion in Disneyland. I took elements from each one and ended up making my own little sketch as a reference to the shape on the train station. Okay, now I'm not claiming I'm some sort of artist, but please enjoy my drawing and don't be mean to me. Now that's it for today's lesson. I'll get more into the details of the train station after I'm done building it. So, as always, sit back, relax, and enjoy the spooky montage. And would you look at this beauty? Our train station for our Pale Garden biome is complete, and I will say it is exactly how I imagined it. So I will say this took me forever to build, so I do not have the energy to actually hook this up to the redstone system for our train tracks and everything. I'll probably do that on a little bit of a live stream. So make sure to get subscribed and turn on notifications, or even join the Discord, discord.gg/barce. And you can get notifications for when I go live, and you can chat my ear off, ask me inspiration, all that fun stuff. But we'll be working on this on a little bit of a live stream. I think that will be fun to hang out with you guys and painfully do a bunch of redstone. You can see all my fun jank stone that I come up with. My little brain can somehow manage to make the redstone wires connect in this game. But just a little bit of a walkthrough. So this will be our exit from the train tracks. I think I want to make it so when you walk out, you come out over here and you just instantly get this beautiful view of the Pale Manor just right over the horizon of these staircases, and the portal will get moved once we do all the redstone stuff. I'm not worried about that right now. But then there's also this side path here that leads up to a few staircases. This is like our main staircase, and I imagine this one right here as kind of like a luggage staircase. You could put, like, if you have a really heavy luggage, you can put it on this. It's kind of like a conveyor belt that can eventually come up here, so you don't have to lug it up these steps. I feel like that would be so inconvenient for our travelers. Then we have a nice little ticket booth here. We can check out your ticket and all that stuff. And then we'll have the entrance into the train tracks up top here. I'm not sure how I'm going to implement it, so that's for a future Barce problem. But we have a nice little empty interior for us to eventually work on as well, and some of these cool little side entrances here. I'm really quite happy with how this has all turned out here. This this nice little design here. I do like the implementation of the dark oak and some of the nether bricks here. Unfortunately, there's nothing darker than dark oak for the trapdoor variant, but I think this turned out very well. We have some really intricate arches up here and cool little window design. I'm very happy with how this all turned out. And then over here, we have a nice little overhang. That's a nice little, like, waiting dock area using some pale garden accessories and foliage and stuff for a little bit of decoration up here. Very much quite happy with it. Now, when it comes to the palette of the actual building here, we have some cobblestone, a little bit of mossy cobblestone, just for a tiny touch of color. And of course, we have a lot of these oranges coming through because orange is the pale garden's kind of accent color. And I'm very happy with how this all turned out, using a little bit of the resin and some copper, using some buttons to kind of cover it up a little bit. A little bit of acacia peeking up there too, which I'm very happy with. And of course, I have to give a little bit of a shout out to my boy Say. He designed this clock up here. Oh, I missed it. He designed this clock right up here. Ow. And I will say this clock is very beautiful. Look, a nice little dragon head in there, and using candles to act as some of the timestamps, or, like, for an analog clock and all that stuff. And then a brewing stand, which is absolutely insane. But it works out, it actually looks really freaking sick. And we're not quite on the Copper Age update yet, so right over here you can see there's some copper rods, and eventually I want to replace these guys with some copper golem statues. I'm so excited for that. Even right here, I kind of just left them in as temporary little placements, just to kind of get the idea across that I want to put some gargoyles up there. That's what I imagine the copper golems can do for me. But yeah, that pretty much does it for the train station here, so we can finally mark that off of our list over here. Oh, here it is. Very nice. So next up, we have to build a nice little graveyard in a crypt area, and I'm very excited for all that. So first, we should maybe tear down the interior over here so we can get prepared for our latter one. Goodbye, crappy farm. It's time for you to go. I won't lie, it's always kind of nice to tear down some older redstone or just even older builds, because then I get free resources. Look, I don't have to do as much resource gathering for redstone stuff. Like, that's so awesome. Who am I kidding? I'm gonna overgather. All right, now we got this all cleaned up, we can sleep because it's nighttime outside. Oopsie. All right, now that we got the old redstone farm all torn up, it's now time to make the new one and also a new environment for it. And it's gonna go right behind this beautiful pale mansion right here. I can't show too much because I've already built it. You can see there's a little bit of stuff out there. So it's time to get into the build montage. Wow, what a freaking awesome new crypt area. I thought I'd give you guys a nice little walkthrough on how it kind of vibes with the rest of the Pale Garden, because I think it fits in super well. You can see a little bit of it right out there. But here's our nice little pathway connecting up to the manor. A nice little, kind of rugged path on the side here. Some nice little candle holders here. I don't really care for these too much because the chain's a little loose looking, so I might have to convert these back to the full walls. But I really wanted some dim lighting out here. But here is the graveyard. It looks so fantastic. I love the bridge going over the rickety little ravine out here. A nice little canal kind of sticking out, which links up to the crypt. But if we cross this bridge here, you can see we have two different little mausoleums for each of the buried family members or like people who lived inside this manor. I'm kind of imagining this one as the smaller one, and this is where maybe some of the maids or the maid's family lived. And this one's all locked up. You can't go inside this one. Maybe eventually we, make this one an openable door. Maybe at nighttime it kind of magically opens or something. That could be actually really freaking cool. But then in between the two mausoleums, we have a nice little garden right here, and I really like this. I actually stole this from B-Dubs in his last Hermitcraft video. He talked about putting blocks underneath leaves to kind of create some looking little flowering bushes kind of effect, and I think it looks really cool here, especially with the resin kind of keeping in theme with the whole pale garden of the orange accent. And of course we have eye blossoms lining the whole bush area here, so during nighttime these all open up and it looks just so fantastic with those little emissive textures. Oh man, this place looks so sick at nighttime. I'll have to show you guys after we talk about this awesome crypt right here. The crypt entrance in this mausoleum, the door is open, which I love how this door looks. It's very simple, using some tripwire hooks and some of the spruce doors. Creates just such a cool little effect here. But we also, I'm gonna hop into cheaty cam here a little bit and look at all these little intricate designs here. And there's also a lot of little bit of coloration in here with some, weathering using some light gray wool and some light gray concrete and a little bit of diorite every so often, just to really emphasize the wear and tear on such a build. And we also have a little bit of some motifs here from, some crosses and stuff. This is a graveyard. It makes some sense to have a little bit of religion inside this place. But if we head down into the creepy crypt. Ooh, creepy crypt. I like that name. But it's very dim down here, so open up your eyes a little bit, but you can see we have this awesome downstairs area here. I'm so happy with how this turned out. And I added some custom, little elements into here. This is our resin farm. So I wanted to include a little bit of some resin kind of leaking out through some of the walls, kind of crackling through the roof here. I love this. This is kind of inspired by Hollow Knight. There's this one part in the game where the beginning area of the game kind of gets infected with this orange kind of substance. It's called the Radiance in the game, and I wanted to include a little bit of that through here, kind of showing some wear and tear on the place. We also got some roots and some hanging moss and everything coming through the ceiling. I think it looks so cool having a little bit of nature interact with this underground crypt area here. We also have a nice little canal system, which I showed a little bit earlier, and this connects up to the outside. And the reason I did this is because there's this giant freaking lush cave right behind us here, and it looks so magnificent. And I thought a nice little waterfall kind of leading down into this area would give it a little bit more reason on why it's so lush and, freaking green down here. It's also dangerous. I gotta fly out of here. So yeah, that's why there is an entrance through that way into the crypt here. But finally, the real purpose of our resin farm, of our crypt here is for the resin farm. We have a nice little redstone little sign right here. And the redstone's actually very simple. Pulling a little bit of a mumbo jumbo there, but if I turn on some gamma, you can see that all of our creakings will spawn right here in between these two layers. There's actually a bunch of creaking hearts. So at nighttime, they activate, they all spawn up here. And if we turn on the farm right here, if we turn on the lever downwards, it'll start activating these trapdoors and pushing these guys all into this funnel spot. And then of course, with how the creaking mechanics work, every time we give them a little smack with our sweeping edge sword, they will spawn resin over by their creaking hearts, which is what this bottom chamber is for. And all the resin will spawn right here. And then we have a little bit of redstone that kind of pushes the logs back and forth, which makes all the resin pop off and fall down all into this chest here. I already ran it in another clip. Actually, I'm re-recording this clip. And this is all of the resin we got from about 1 night of AFKing, maybe a little bit less than that, maybe like, 7 minutes, 6 minutes of running it. But it's pretty dang good. It's way better than my old farm. My old farm was absolutely terrible. At AFK there for a whole night and I get like 4 stacks. So I'm very happy with this upgrade. It was very much worth it. And also, fun fact, I included some mushrooms down here because 1, it's very dark, so we get a little bit of mushroom growth, but 2, mushrooms technically have a light level of 1. So these were actually bad spots where bad guys could spawn. So I placed these here so no bad guys can spawn down here and we will be safe from all of the elements. Same over there, added even some buttons because I don't want to spam mushrooms everywhere. And yeah, this place is all totally safe. Oh, and I also love this detail right here. I almost forgot to mention it. We have some of the resin kind of dripping down using some orange glass and some candles. I think the candles work really well as like kind of a secondary source of lighting, but also just a little bit of movement in this area. Although it is just a flame particle, so it doesn't work super well, but it does work as lighting, and that counts for me. But with that, I think I can officially say our crypt and graveyard area is complete, and we can go over to our board and tick that off the list. Boom. Always very satisfying seeing that, isn't it? But lastly, and certainly not least, it's time to do a little bit of interior work on our pale manor here. So, as always, get a snack, get ready to relax, and enjoy some interiors with Barce. Interiors with Barce. Oh yes, it's America's favorite segment. It's time to do a little bit of interior work, and I'm actually really excited to begin working on this interior because it's been a long time coming, and I have a really cool idea in mind as well for this place. So I'm kind of going for like a manor interior. I mean, it makes sense, right? This whole place is a manor. But I want to do some like cool like little striped walls, kind of have like that kind of wallpaper look around the whole area. And I want to have different sections of the house too. I'm thinking maybe this area could be some sort of cool like living room area. And then on this side, we could do some sort of kit or like a dining table and like a kitchen and stuff. I think we should just get the walls in place and we can kind of decide what each room is going to be. And we also need to maybe move the staircase because I don't really care for that position right now. Nice. All right, well, I've been silent for the past 40 minutes. We're just building this entire interior section, but we have a lot of the rooms still open here, but the hallways are looking mighty fantastic. I'm really happy with how these have all kind of come together. Look, this is my favorite detail right here. We have two little tripwire hooks. They kind of look like coat racks or something like that, and I really wanted to emphasize the whole coat rack thing by shoving a little armor stand into the wall here. I really like how this little section of the wall looks right here. We also have like a nice little closet back here. I think this was kind of a neat detail. It's kind of a little awkward, you know, little 2-block corners. So I think that was pretty nice to add into there. Now, I said it a little bit earlier, but I think I want this to be a living room, and I really want to put a piano in this corner. So I'm excited to get working on that. Oh, hi, Creeper. Nice for you to visit. Then I think on this left side, it's going to be some sort of nice little dining room. I definitely want to put a Minecraft cake in the middle of this room. On the table, so I think that will be kind of nice. And then this will be a nice little kitchen nook. There's not a lot of room here, but I think that's fine for a Minecraft kitchen, especially. Maybe not for rich people. You know, maybe that's kind of more like where the maids would do all of their cooking and stuff like that. Then we head upstairs. A nice little like kind of turnaround area for the stairs here. A cool little painting here. Look at that one. That one's so cool. Wow. Then we have just a nice little typical hallway up here again with a nice little shelf unit right here. Another little you know, like a freaking hallway table right here. This could be a smaller bedroom, and I'm thinking this one over here could be the master bedroom because look at these windows right here. Now, technically, we actually have a third floor up here, and we actually have a window and such for this level. I think I want to leave it as a sort of like a attic area that I would like to expand on, and it'd be cool if like the attic was only accessible through one of like these bedroom ceilings, you know, kind of one of those little hidey hole little trapdoor things that you fly down. So I think that would be a cool little detail to add into one of these rooms. But let's get designing on the living room area because I really want to make this piano and a cool little couch and stuff over in this corner. Now, I actually had to go travel to the end and find some end ships to go get these dragon heads just for the piano keys. Isn't that so freaking awesome? Finally. An exit portal. Get me the F out of here. All right, I finally got the dragon heads I need to make this dang piano. And the whole purpose of the dragon heads is these tiny little parts right here. They're used as like the piano keys. But yeah, we're going to make the piano using some dragon heads real quick and a little bit of redstone to push around some armor stands. Oh, I definitely don't have enough armor stands, do I? Oh my goodness. Okay, finally, we got the piano part of this, and it looks pretty good. Was it worth it? We'll see with the final product. All right, here is our piano, finally. I'm actually very happy with this. It's very grand. I like the little looms back here, too, kind of the, you know, some of the strings from the piano. And I wanted to cover up a little bit of the wall here with some banners. Wasn't quite a fan of the regular stone texture behind there. Maybe I go brown or something later on, but I would definitely wanted these to be exposed because that's like the cool part about the piano. And eventually we can put a book and quill inside this lectern right here and can kind of be like the sheet music and stuff for whoever is sitting here playing the old piano, but it looks pretty dang good. I don't recommend making this because the redstone to move all these dragon heads around and plus the price of these dragon heads, not very cheap. All right, now that we got the piano in, let's make a little bit of a couch here. And I think I want to match the green walls with this couch. Not sure if I will regret this or not, but let's just freaking do it. You know, I'm going to do beds on this couch because one, it makes it look a little bit more like a sofa. And I think that looks pretty freaking sweet. And I also like the pillows on here. And technically, I could go to sleep right now as well. Now, I think I just want to add a few more paintings into this room, kind of just to fill up a little bit of space here. And I think I have a 2x3 painting. Okay, that one doesn't really match. That one's awesome. We'll do this one. I really like having the 2x3 paintings in my custom little painting. Shout out to all of my favorite little artists. Ooh, the fern in this biome kind of goes a little crazy. I didn't realize that. It's a very desaturated. That kind of fits with the whole theme in here. All right, this place is supposed to be really rich, so we got to make ourselves a really fancy carpet, of course, in the middle of the living room here. And I think we can do a really nice and big 3x5 carpet right here. What color shall I do, though? Maybe red to kind of match the little table thing that we have right there, the little seat. Red could be cool. Yellow could be dope. Blue. Ooh, blue is pretty royal, or even purple. Okay, hold on. Let me cook up a design real quick. Okay, dude, look at this tech right here. I love the leaf litter in the pale garden biome. Look, it's fully desaturated, so it really blends in super well with like these darker deep slate colors. And I thought I wanted to use a little bit of the lapis ore in this, and I think it's come together super well with nice little grays and blues and a little bit of glazed terracotta there just for a little bit of the lighter colors coming through. Maybe a little bit of like that coral kind of lighter color you can see right there, but this turned out super well. I need to screenshot this and save it for another time. And a little bit of last minute painting action in here, and I think this room can be considered done. Maybe we make this one a 2x2 as well, just to kind of mirror that guy over there. Oh, perfect. That's a great one. There we go. I actually really like how this room has turned out. I think it has some nice pizzazz. I might even quickly throw on a few signs just to add underneath these paintings to give them a little bit more oomph in here. But yeah, look at that. Ooh, this room is so nice. All right, now we have the dining room to deal with, and I think we're just gonna go with the nice and simple kind of table just kind of surrounding this whole area here. And to be honest, we can reintroduce this little red theme we have in some of the rooms around here and do a nice little red center tablecloth. And you know what? Boom, cake. And we can actually add candles to it. I don't know how many candles you can add to a cake, but okay, just the one. But we can light that and it gives a little bit of light. Very, very minimal, but maybe it'll carry the... Not at all. All right, well, I guess to go along with the red tablecloth, we're going to do a little bit of some red chairs. You know what? I guess we could try to make a little bit of a chandelier up here. We got to keep it really minimal, so I got to figure out how we're going to make this work. But ideally, copper ones. I know I have a bunch of copper lightning rods right here. Maybe we do pale wood for instead. That could be a little bit more interesting. All right, I'd say that's a pretty decent chandelier, especially for the scale of this room. It's very small, and the chandelier, if it was any bigger, would just look like it's massive. So I think this is okay. Now I'm just gonna go around, add a few pots to the table, kind of look like cups or something of the sort. And maybe a few stone pressure plates as well, just for the extra, like a platage as well. I think this is pretty nice. And some extra table garnish with some pickles. And of course, we got to keep up with the creepy manor kind of vibes and add some paintings around the area. All right, I'd say this is the end of the dining room right here. This is looking pretty solid to me. These paintings always just kind of add a little bit of extra atmosphere to the room, making it feel nice and creepy. You know, a bunch of paintings of people you have no idea why they are there, and that is the beauty of haunted places. You know, I'm kind of running out of steam here, so I think the last thing I want to decorate is the little kitchenette back here. And then I think I might have to leave the upstairs for another time because I'm getting freaking drained right now from doing these interiors. I've been doing this for 2 hours just for context, so hopefully you understand. All right, let's get some furnaces and some basic stuff in here, some cabinetry. I think we'll just do some bookshelves for some cabinets, maybe some barrels as well. A little campfire underneath these smokers, just make them look a little bit active. Some tripwire hooks, maybe to kind of act like you can hang up knives or some other utensils off of these. And maybe a little bit extensive there, but I think it nicely fills up this wall here. We actually can't do anything with this wall here because on the other side is the outside. So we don't have a lot of room here to really wiggle with. But we try to make it work. I think I'm going to try to add in maybe a cauldron right here for a sink. And then maybe a grindstone could kind of squeeze in somewhere in here. I mean, I could put it up there, but you're not really gonna look up there. Maybe right there is fine. I'm kind of thinking the grindstone maybe could be used to sharpen said knives, you know, kind of trying to go off of that a little bit. And I'll just throw a pot in the corner there. And I think this is pretty decent. You know, it's not supposed to be very roomy. This is supposed to be a little kitchenette. You know, you prep some things in here, you cook a few things, just like a separate little kitchen area. But it actually is the only kitchen area in this house because I didn't really account for a full kitchen. But with that, I think the downstairs is actually looking mighty fine. I'm very happy with this room, especially. And this room on the left looks really, really busy, which I quite like, especially from the hallway perspective. Ignore all the shulker monster. But I'm really liking how this is coming together. And I'm excited to see what I do in the future. What future Barce does with the upstairs here. We have a bedroom to plan out and a master bedroom. And also an attic, so maybe we do that some other time. All right, but now it's time to pack this all up and head over to the library for the comment of the week. Oh, this magnificent library. I love coming back here at the end of every episode and kind of hanging out with you guys just for a little moment. I'll just realize I'm still wearing my nerd skin. But anyways, today's comment is from Twixie. What are your thoughts on the 2 newest updates, the Copper Age and the Mounts of Mayhem? I think the Copper Age update, which I will be updating to next video, which I am very excited to explore and all that fun stuff. But I'm actually pretty excited to explore all the new blocks and all that stuff. I think the copper golems are actually going to be pretty useful for a lot of smaller sorting stuff rather than sorting every single little thing in the game like a lot of people are kind of expecting them to do. Now for the Mounts of Mayhem, I think that update is going to be so freaking cool. I'm so excited to be able to do some new underwater stuff and have some new movement opportunities and kind of messing around with the Nautilus. And apparently there's going to be even more stuff coming out that hasn't been announced yet, which I am excited to see. I also think the spear is super cool, and I think that will unlock a lot of cool new parkour abilities for just other map makers and stuff like that. I think that's what Minecraft really specializes in, is adding niche things that help map creators and kind of just letting you be creative rather than direct features that like aid you in your survival day to day, I guess. I think that's a decent way of putting it. I'm sure I'll elaborate more on it in like live streams and such, but wait, why am I doing it through this? But thank you, Twixie, for the comment, and make sure you guys leave your guys' comments down below so I can read them for future episodes. Boop, right there. Now, for all you people hanging out towards the end of the video, I'm just gonna give you guys a little bit of a warning. I'm trying out some new editing stuff. I want to try some new pacing and all that, so I might be missing a few little ladies and gentle hands in the future, but I really want to you know, start improving on my video stuff and kind of innovating, because I'm kind of getting myself in a little bit of a vicious cycle, you know, creating the same video over and over again. So I kind of want to try to innovate and try some new things. So bear with me. Let me know what you guys think about some of the new editing stuff that you'll see in future videos from here on out. But that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, I really do appreciate it. If you want to join the prestigious list of channel members you see on the left side of your screen, consider joining as a member. Make sure to get subscribed and like the video and all that fun stuff. And I'll see you guys all next week. Bye.